My boy Jody here made a video called "The Classic WoW Community is Ruining Classic Plus. It's Time to Stop." I was talking to him about his thumbnail the night before. He sent me a thumbnail, absolutely atrocious. So I sat with him. We helped make a better thumbnail because this is a message that needs to be said out loud and it needs to reach a wider audience because it is the truth. There is so much negativity in the classic space that I stopped making videos in the classic space. I stopped making videos in the space because of the negativity. It's genuinely overwhelming to the level of how much hatred people have towards the devs in the classic in general. I'm not saying classic is perfect. There is valid criticism, there is valid arguments, and there's valid negativity. But at the end of the day, this is absolutely a message that needs to truly be spoken about. And I'm so glad you made the video. So this is my first time actually watching it. So let's just dive into it and see what my boy Jody actually has to say.
Hey guys, lately there's been an insane amount of talking about this mythical game mode that classic players have been wanting from Blizzard, being Classic Plus. Especially when Season of Discovery wrapped up shop after 8 phases and Agron gave us that blue post confirming that development was essentially stopping. And unfortunately, a recent update about these Chinese exclusive servers, being the Titan Forge servers that we knew about back in like July, I think, not only brought more conversation, but a lot of outcry and anger from parts of the classic community. So I'm making this video kind of like just to clear the air, I guess, from just my.
And I do want to make a caveat here. A lot of the classic negativity and anger comes from the fact that this is our 6th time doing anniversary of vanilla again. And people feel like we're not being taken seriously. They not feel like we're not being heard. People have been saying TBC era, TBC anniversary, Wrath era. And then all we get is anniversary again, or Mr. Pandaria. I'm not saying Mr. Pandaria is even a bad game mode, but I understand the level of frustration people actually have. It's just gotten so bad that talking about the game in a positive light gets you shit on. Especially if your video hits a wider audience. You know what, actually? Before I watch the rest of the video, I want to see the comments real quick. Let's take a look. That's exactly what a good Blizzard boy would say. You've lost the plot. I'm hyped about Project Ascension's WoW Reborn. Sorry, no, you need to badger them. Like, there is some positive comments. But you can even see, it's like, so many people are just absolutely, like, negative from the get-go. The positive, you see the difference, like, the positive comments are all these massive write-ups, and negative comments are, haha, you dumb.
Perspective on things and kind of just go over, and this is going to sound rude, just kind of go over how things just work, I guess, in regards to like AAA gaming companies, game development, and like business and just games and business in general. There's a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation being spread around, and it's been happening for a while. And, you know, people have their rage towards Blizzard, you know, whenever, just because it's normal to hate the company.
Why are you a shoe collector, by the way, Jody? Not gonna lie, I'm taking points away from you for being a shoe collector. I'm looking at these shoes here. You disappoint me. Why do you have this many goddamn shoes?
Company, right? But I wanted to organize my thoughts and sort of talk about this because in my last video, I kind of just rambled for 20 minutes. So this time it's more of an actual organized thought process to hopefully help calm things down because I feel like we're doing more harm than good by this outcry that we're creating. But the harsh reality is, no, Classic Plus is not happening for some time now, or whatever this next project is following SOD. It's not happening for some time now, and that's normal, and it's okay. Now, before I go on, the fact that I feel like I even have to say this is pretty funny, but no, I'm not getting paid by Blizzard to shill for them, I guess.
Actually, on this front, I actually want to say one thing, and this is controversial. I have been making videos for Blizzard. Jody's been making videos. Hammer, Tallow, Kago, all the classic Andes, you know, Mad Season, like so many content creators, like big people, Savix, Zayu, everyone. A lot of people don't get fucking paid. There is no money as a classic creator. Like, I make this many videos out of fucking passion. This shit pays nothing. Legitimately, honestly, when I shill for Blizzard, I'm doing that shit for free. If I was at least being paid to shill, it would be slightly more acceptable. But like at this point, I'm talking retail, Classic Plus, Season of Discovery, being positive about the game. You get no fucking money. Genuinely, the Classic dev team does not have a marketing budget. They had $5,000. They tried to play Savix 5K. He said no. And then the marketing team took the money away. Like, that's the Classic dev team's marketing budget.
I'm not trying to be a good Boy Scout for Blizzard. Guys, I barely post videos anymore. It's been like 3 weeks since my last video, and I stream like twice on Twitch. So I'm not trying to like be a good boy or whatever. This is my honest opinion about everything I've been seeing regarding all this Classic Plus nonsense. Now, I've watched a lot of creators like Hammer Dance, Ebonheart, Tello, Kago, Solheim, Alando, etc.
Tallow with the super negativity. My boy Hammer over here with the we just got slapped in the face. Classic Plus is happening. Classic Plus is cancelled. The truth about Classic Plus? Ah, man. The grifting is at top tier.
Etc. And first, let me say that I have great respect for all of them, and I'm not trying to talk mess or cause any drama with any of the creators
He's already started
I mentioned
drama.
or any creators in general. I think
he's already started drama. My response video will be out tomorrow.
creator drama is pretty stupid. I understand where a lot of them are coming with Classic Plus, and just, more recently, these Chinese exclusive servers and whatnot. But unfortunately, like I said earlier, I feel like it does more harm than good for the overall Classic community with what some of them have been saying. Let's first talk about the latter because they're fresh in our minds, right? The Titan Forge servers, the China exclusive servers. So these are Wrath servers with a boosted 1 through 80 leveling experience, where vanilla and TBC raids are also scaled to level 80 and everything is a 25-man raid. There's more to it, but that's just the gist of it. People have been...
In my video, I even said this as well. I made a video talking about how the drama was overblown as well. And in my video, I literally said, from the very beginning, it sucks ass. I was upset. It sucks that the Chinese servers are getting a custom game mode and we have Mr. Pandaria and Anniversary. But I even said that this was expected. It's not even the same dev team. The Chinese dev team working on the Titan Forge servers are not the NA or EU dev team. They're separate teams. They have nothing to do with each other. Yeah, it falls under Agron's purview, and the Clayton Stone and Ian Hazakosis probably traveled to China to talk to the Chinese dev team, but they don't run it. It's not the actual people. It's not Zyrene or Morgan or Artemis or any of the people that youth in NA working on that Chinese server at all. They have nothing to do with that shit. That's a whole separate dev team, probably run by NetEase. So it's something people need to keep in mind, that it was never meant for the West, with the amount of artificial paywalls and systems inside the server to buy mounts. And then there's 40 paid mounts in game. It was never meant to come to the West or NA or the EU at all. It was always specifically designed. It was always specifically made for the Chinese audience. Now, does it suck that they get a really cool server concept? Absolutely. I understand the anger from that. It truly is somewhat of a slap in the face that we couldn't get that as well. But it was never meant for us from the get-go. And that's what made a lot of people upset. You can understand that, but I've said this before, but player perception matters far more than reality. People can see reality and they'll fucking ignore it because what they think, what they feel is more important than the truth or the facts.
Calling these servers a version of Classic Plus, and there's outrage that they're China exclusive and Americans, Europeans aren't getting them. The recent outcry and anger was
O'Malley, thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate that. Big Dog, thank you for the 8 months. You're a goddamn legend. Thank you.
Because of an interview with Claystone and Ian Hazakosis. Ian, you know him as Ian, where Ian mentioned, along with Mr. Pandaria, these new servers would be the Classic team's main focus. And people took that as, well, I guess no Classic Plus for America. That's all they're going to focus on. We're not getting anything. And then, to be fair, Wowhead, which, if you don't know, I write guides and news articles for, published an article about this interview. And unfortunately and unintentionally, we caused some anger because we quoted that quote that Ian said, I said earlier, but didn't include the along with mob part. So it just read like, these new servers will be Blizzard's main focus for the next year. So people, again, got mad. Now, devs had reached out to us at Wowhead, and
yeah, when I saw this initial thought, when I saw this, I even said it. I was like, Wowhead fucking stirring the drama. They're making bait here. Because they literally quoted Ian Hazzikostas, so one for one, saying, to be fair, it was a quote. China's exclusive Titan Reforged servers will be the classic team's main focus for the next year. And that is the legitimate quote. That is the most clickbait, but it's also the truth. It is what Ian Hazzikostas said. But at the same time, they should have clarified that they should have literally just said, it is the NetEase team's full focus to work on the Titan Forge server for the Chinese player base, while we also make Mr. Pandaria and the Future Classic our priority for all of you. If they had said that, this wouldn't have happened. But Ian Hazzikostas was just telling the Chinese player base this was made for them. Again, wording. Your words will always be taken out of context. It'll always be taken out of context because it's easier to make a statement, a saying, by twisting a word, saying A, and then pushing that thing there. And that's something you got to realize, and this is how these game developers, how these news outlets, how everything operates in the modern day. You want to send a message, so you take the message that's available and you push that.
And we changed the title of the article because, again, it was not the intention to rage bait. I promise y'all it wasn't. But even if, we didn't post that article, the way people took it would have stayed the same. Now, if you're upset that you aren't getting access to these servers, you have every right to be. And there's merit behind what you're saying because you want to play this new game mode. It sounds cool, right? But I just want to go over why it is the way it is. And some of y'all might know why, and you just might not care, which is fine too. But just in case you didn't know, a few years back, NetEase and Blizzard had a fallout. And because of that, China lost access to WoW for a solid amount of time. And during that time, they lost out on Wrath of the Lich King and all of Season of Discovery. And if I was a Chinese WoW player, man, I'd be really upset because those are like my two favorite versions of WoW of all time. But with their partnership back, one, Blizzard gave China...
I'm docking points for Jody saying Wrath of the Lich King is better than TBC. You see what I did there? He didn't say that. But by saying Wrath is his favorite version, I can immediately misconstrue what he's saying and bait. Jody hates TBC. He's such a piece of shit. How could Jody hate TBC? Now, to be fair though, he does like Wrath more. So Jody's entire opinion for the rest of the video is completely invalid.
A new fresh Wrath progression server, and now they're also getting these Titan Forge servers as like a gift. It's exclusive to them to build that relationship again, some reconciliation for what happened in the past. It's not meant to be this F you America, we hate you, we hate our American customers, we love China, China number one belief that I've unfortunately seen around the internet. It's just meant to be like a business deal. And again, you have a right to be annoyed and frustrated that you're not getting this, especially if you're not a fan of the current classic services offered by Blizzard. But I think it's an over-exaggeration on being upset by this. It's a huge overreaction because I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation, because this is not, at least from what I've been told by people, not a Classic Plus that they're gonna enjoy. I'm not trying to make it a you think you do, but you don't type situation, but this isn't a classic vanilla setting. It's a Wrath setting. It's not a slow progression leveling journey. It's boosted. You're supposed to get to 80 as fast as possible. There are in-game shop rewards. So you can bet you'll see the WoW token on there. You'll see a bunch of like transmog stuff, pets, whatever on the shop in this version of the game. To me, it sounds like an arcade style, like boss rush type game versus like a classic progression server, almost like a Wrath remix with vanilla and TBC raids versus a classic game. I can guarantee that the people who would play this, who want Classic Plus, would play it and think to themselves, or not to themselves, they would post on forums and whatnot, what is this BS? This isn't classic. Why are y'all wasting your dev time on this? I want the real Classic Plus. So again, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation. Now let's move on to Classic Plus. Now, just in case you don't know what Classic Plus is, don't worry. Nobody really does. Everybody has their own vision of what they want it to be. But it's essentially a reimagined vanilla setting of Azeroth with new quests, dungeons, new abilities, spells, zones, etc. But what continues to blow my mind is the idea that this game mode, which is a big undertaking, should just already be out. The drama behind this has only been enhanced after Microsoft has been suing Turtle WoW and other private servers. And I'll talk about Turtle WoW in a second, but I want to focus on this misinformed outcry about Blizzard's game development, especially with this next big project that we're assuming is Classic Plus. Look, I get it. If you don't like Anniversary, if you don't like Mr. Pandaria, I get it. Anniversary has a lot of issues, and so does Mr. Pandaria. Personally, I'm enjoying both to a certain extent.
That's actually something I do want to quickly mention there, is that there is a lot of negativity towards Classic, well, not Classic Plus, but towards Anniversary or Mr. Pandaria from a lot of Classic players that don't want to play them. I know a lot of Mr. Pan, like, you know, I'm actually, okay, I was in Kago's Discord. It's my boy Kago. He's running the Mop Saviors Guild. They're doing their best. I was hanging out with a couple of people in his guild, right? And they were waiting for raid night because I was playing League of Legends with somebody from there. And we're sitting there playing League. We're chatting, and each new person that logs in, getting ready, and joins call in prep for raid, they're all like, man, I don't want to fucking raid. Because the issue is, a lot of people are playing Mr. Pandaria, not because Mr. Pandaria is amazing or top tier, but because that's all that's available. It's either Mr. Pandaria Anniversary or you quit WoW. That's what's made a lot of people really frustrated, that Mr. Pandaria is not even a bad game mode. But that's the only option you have if you don't want to play Classic again. So you have this anger and frustration, this vitriol that comes from playing Mr. Pandaria, from playing Anniversary for a decent amount of people. And the issue here isn't that every single person in that guild was like, I don't want to play Mop, I don't want to play this, I don't want to play anything. It's more of a, this is all I can play, this is all I have available, this is all that's like here for me to truly enjoy. They don't hate Mr. Pandaria, but it's not the version of the game they would essentially prefer. Now again, keep in mind, he runs a very big guild, multiple people, multiple raid teams. So 5, 6, 7 people over there being upset isn't like the end all be all explaining everything, right? It's just a very small pool of players. But the negativity stems from the fact that a lot of Classic players feel like the abandoned red-headed stepchild, right? They don't feel loved, they don't feel cared for, they feel like worthless because they see retail getting Midnight, Legion Remix, they see Anniversary going into TBC, which is really hype. They see these cool things that's not for them. And Mop is the biggest version of Classic right now. By a decent margin, not even by like a small margin, by an actual decent margin. On top of that, Mop's had so many issues. Just today, this video is on the 30th of September when I'm reacting, but Mop had a massive memory leak today. People literally, when they logged in, had no gear, no bags, minus 2 billion DPS. They couldn't access anything, they couldn't play anything. The game was completely broken because they tried to fix the fact that Mop had no master loot for a full week. So every time people are playing the version of WoW, and it's got so many bugs and issues, it keeps souring the experience, and that negativity is getting more and more loud, more and more pronounced, more and more outright. And that's a big problem in the Classic scene right now. Negativity gets 10x the clicks of positivity.
Especially Mr. Pandaria, surprisingly. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do. But I know there's a healthy amount of people in the Classic.
He's lying, he doesn't like it. He's in my ear 24/7 saying, I hate Mr. Pandaria. He's straight up lying and gaslighting you all. He does not like Mr. Pandaria.
Community who just don't enjoy either. And if you don't have a version of Classic from Blizzard that you can enjoy, which for a lot of us WoW addicts, which we all are, sucks, especially if you're a content creator. It really feels like the hype that Classic had from its launch back in 2019 has finally died. And it died when Season of Discovery wrapped up shop. And players, especially creators, want that hype back.
That is absolutely one of the truest things he said. A lot of Classic's hype is finally done. Completely dead, completely removed from the equation. Up until the end of SOD, people were actually hyped and excited. They were truly interested and truly ready to dive into and like play things and like enjoy things. But with the end of SOD, people just straight up went, ah shit, this is it, I guess. And I don't get your question as a Gromba. What do you mean lower? You mean like as a Zandalari? You can just go change your lower at any point. I don't really understand that question. Do you mean lure errors? I'm not really sure.
And I get it as someone who was a creator. I don't want to say I'm not a creator anymore, but I mean, last video I posted was 3 weeks ago and I streamed like twice on Twitch and YouTube now. There's just not much to talk about in the game, so I don't force myself to make videos. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm focusing more on my career to make sure that I'm not losing track like I did last year.
Oh, you're talking about a Legion Remix, Zandalari, lower BFA. Yes, you can. Actually, that's a really good question. Nobody actually knows as a Gromba. That's a good question. I'll look into that. I don't have an answer right now, though.
So I just don't make content the same way I used to. But for those who want to do this, like aspiring WoW creators, people who really want to grow, it's a really bad time right now. Probably the worst it's ever been for.
It's actually true. I stopped making classic WoW content mostly because the only thing I can talk about is negativity and shitting on Blizzard. There isn't really anything positive or hype to look forward to. If I make TBC hype prep videos, everyone's like, oh my god, you just hate classic, hate anniversary. How could you start prepping for TBC? I can't wait to see your video saying Wrath prep in a year, or I can't wait for TBC then to go to Wrath. Like, the positivity, the whole angle of the game has gotten incredibly negative and nuanced, like I said. There really isn't a good time. There really truly isn't a good time to be playing or even making any kind of content in just the game in general. Well, like classic WoW right now, at least. So a lot of videos you come out do seem negative.
Classic WoW creators. And I feel for you, I do. But I've just seen just some really silly and bad faith conversations that aren't productive or just factual in general. And like I mentioned at the start, it's going to do more harm than good, especially if you really keep trying to push Blizzard to release this product sooner than later. But I also want to clarify this too. Just because maybe you don't like the current classic games offered doesn't mean that there aren't people who do. Like I said, I really like Mists of Pandaria. And I kind of like Anniversary right now. There's a lot I don't like about it, but the actual gameplay of it, I am a big fan of. But it's fine to not enjoy it, but it doesn't mean that those of us who do are villains or are in the wrong for doing so. You know, I've heard the phrase speak with your wallet, right? And yeah, I'm still subbed because I enjoy what I'm playing. And if you don't, then don't waste your money on this, right? If you're not playing, cancel your sub for a bit. But here's the thing, you can't expect.
Thank you. Okay, I got it. Chat, I got it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I unmuted myself. I 100% agree with Jody right there. If you don't like modern WoW, if you don't like modern Blizzard, if you don't like modern Classic, if you don't like modern World of Warcraft, unsub. Genuinely vote with your wallet. Genuinely vote with your time. Unsub. And write down, I don't like the direction of Classic WoW. I don't like the state of Classic WoW. Unsub and make your point. Unsub and prove your point to Blizzard. Playing the game and genuinely saying, I hate World of Warcraft, I hate Classic, and then you keep playing, doesn't mean anything. Unsub and make a statement. Don't play a game you hate. Go play other things. There's so many things to play. Genuinely, don't hurt yourself and your mental state and how you feel about the game and the world by playing a game you absolutely despise. Quit and take a break.
Expect a game company to just shit out a game in 3 months and expect it to be good, especially when they're managing other active games as well. Now, I'm going to reference Hammerdance, and I'm not trying to talk mess about him because I referenced him, I think, in my last video or a previous video too. And again, it's just a happy coincidence because I think he's an awesome creator. I think he's a really cool guy too. But something he recommended, I watched one of his videos, would just, again, do more harm than good. And he said something along the lines of, give us just whatever you can, like give us a unfinished version of Classic Plus and then just slowly develop it over time. And if this next big project is...
Actually, you know what? I disagree with Hammer there. I talk to my boy Hammer every day. Love the man. He's a genuine GOAT. But I'm going to be real. If they release Classic Plus tomorrow in a work in progress state where they update and fix it patch by patch, Classic Plus will die. It'll be dead on arrival. The Classic player base does not want an unfinished game. They want a finished game full of content. If Classic Plus comes out with less content than TWoW, it's going to get shit on. It needs to come out fully developed. I will say though, I do want to give one major caveat here. They need to say, they need to honestly just outright say, because they've teased it a bunch. Oh, we're working on the next big thing. We're working on this. That's not really much hype. People don't know what they're working on. They literally just need to say, The next version of Classic is the biggest project we've ever worked on, and it is not a re-release. We can't wait to share more at next BlizzCon. See you guys then. A simple sentence like that would alleviate all the negativity and concerns right now, because a lot of people right now don't believe they're working on Classic Plus. They truly believe they're working on the Chinese servers or this or that. They don't believe that the devs are actually working on anything. They want to hear an acknowledgement of the next version is a big thing. It's something huge. They don't want to just hear we're working on something, just trust us and wait. People don't trust Blizzard right now. You can't just say trust us and wait. It doesn't work like that.
Is Classic Plus. I can guarantee you whatever they have now isn't even in an alpha setting. There's no way any portion of this game was being developed while they were actively working on SOD. Ideas were probably barely hitting a whiteboard when they finished up Phase 8. And look, guys, we've seen what
I just realized I'm 10 minutes into Jody's video and I have a 25-minute reaction. This is gonna be like a 65-minute video.
Rushed Blizzard product looks like. I mean, half of Cataclysm was rough. Phase 3 of SOD, rough.
Absolutely terrible.
Killed like half the player base. Phase 4 was okay, but Phase 5, 6, rough, especially Phase 6. We remember the AQ phase, right? Oh my God. There's just too much on the line for them to release something this soon. So again, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation now. And then this one, this one thing annoys me too. And I've heard this from a lot of people. It's like, why did they even give us MOP and Anniversary to begin with? They should have just given us Classic Plus immediately after. And I'm sorry, that's just like dumb. Here's what would have happened if they didn't give us MOP or Anniversary at all. You wouldn't have any version of Classic from Blizzard right now. There'd be nothing. And their next...
I'm gonna be real, I would have preferred that. I would have preferred no Anniversary. I would have preferred if everybody's only option was Era and MOP. I would have preferred TBC Anniversary. I am absolutely upset that we got Classic Anniversary because we literally just went from Classic, TBC, Wrath, SOD, Anniversary. We had 2 hardcore movements. Like, we literally had SOD, which was like, you know, it's not really Classic. It's a Classic minus Alpha, Beta, whatever you want to call it. My point is, Anniversary as is was an addition that, while popular, while doing well, didn't have the hype it could have had or the energy it could have had, because you can't just re-release the same game 6 times. Keep in mind, we had SOM as well. SOM was during TBC. Like, we literally had Classic, TBC, SOM, Wrath, SOD, Anniversary, and MOP. We also had Cataclysm in between, right? It's like, they can't keep re-releasing it. That's the problem. The free rank 14, this drama, that drama. There's so many issues with Anniversary that kind of like broke Anniversary's hype to a degree.
Next big project would still be released around the same time. Only difference is, again, there's nothing to play from Blizzard's classic services. They don't have MOP or Anniversary. Well, they could have kept working on Season of Discovery then and given us that. I would have taken that instead of this crap. Okay, then their Classic Plus game or whatever their project is would come out even later because they have to actively develop and make new content for this game. There's a reason why we got MOP in Anniversary. The games were already made. There's a reason why TBC was announced during the Warcraft Direct along with Anniversary. There's a reason why we haven't heard about WoD at all yet. There's a reason why they didn't talk about Wrath yet either. This is just filler content to give them time to make their game and still offer some versions of Classic. There's a reason why it's not just only MOP. They gave us Anniversary, and I hated when they gave us Anniversary because it was during SOD's AQ phase, and I didn't want to split the population base even more. But now I understand why, because they wanted a version for different audiences. They knew people who liked SOD wouldn't all like MOP, and they knew people wouldn't all like Anniversary. So we have these 2 game modes that are pretty different from each other to keep some of the players who are playing SOD active. So having these 2 games is just way less dev work than an active developing game that they have to create new content for, but it's still classic games that people can play while they work on their big project.
The issue, again, like I said, it's not that they're working on their big project and that's bad. It's that we don't understand or know for sure that they are. Player perception is key. It's integral here. And a lot of the player base does not trust, does not like, does not listen, and does not believe to the devs because they just think we're going to get baited by a SOD 2 or another anniversary or this or Warlords of General Classic. A lot of people just need to hear reassurance that, hey, we know you all want Classic Plus. We know you all want so many things. We're working on a very big project. We can't say much more about it, but we'll see you at BlizzCon for the biggest Classic project we've ever done. Just give us a sentence. That's what most people really want. You don't even have to say Classic Plus in the sentence itself. But give people assurances. Because right now, there isn't any. And I fully believe, I 100% believe that it's coming. 1000% I believe that Classic Plus is coming. But you can't convince the player base of that.
And then it also goes with this other argument I keep hearing, like when you compare the private server devs to like the Blizzard devs, like the private servers are giving you what you really want. They really care about you, while Blizzard just makes a cheap buck giving you these free releases. They don't have to do any work. And it's like, guys, oh my God, they're just filler games. How do we not like comprehend that? How does that not instantly click in our heads? It just makes so much sense, right? And I've tried saying this in like 3 other videos, why this is happening, but people just don't seem to understand it. Like, let's think, please. I know I'm sounding really condescending and kind of mean. I apologize. It's just really annoying. And we weren't complaining about getting re-released content from 2019 through 2022, right? I know we're kind of annoyed because Kata and Mop, they aren't classic. I get that. They're just re-releases at this point. I agree with you on that. But I'm going to say this one more time. It's just filler content to give us something to play while they work on a new thing for us to play. And here's the next thing I want to talk about. What people are putting on Blizzard, we don't ever expect from any other gaming company. So I'm just really confused why they get this treatment versus others. And I'll use a different company in game as an example. I love Elden Ring. It's like my favorite game of all time. I've beaten it 6 times. I have like over 400 hours on the original Elden Ring. And because I'd only played Dark Souls 3 before that, I got to satisfy my Soulsborne cravings with Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Demon Souls, etc. But I wanted more Elden Ring. And if you did too, we eventually got it. 2 years later with the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. That was 2 years after Elden Ring.
I'm a 72-year-old boomer. My hands don't work. I have carpal tunnel. My elbows are broken. My legs don't work. My fingers are all broken, so I can't play Elden Ring.
Ring launched. People weren't crying and pissing themselves 4 months after Elden Ring came out because there was no new content. We knew there would be time between a Elden Ring 2 or whatever we would get after the game came out. So why are we giving Blizzard this unrealistic expectation that they need to have this Classic Plus game out now when SOD ended like 4 months ago? That's not how normal game development time works. Now, I've mentioned this in my last video and on streams and whatever, but Blizzard loves to work in these 18-month cadences. They have been for like almost all 20 years of their existence. And we also saw that not only expansion to expansion, but also from Season of Mastery to Season of Discovery. Phase 6, the next phase of SOM to SOD's launch was like 18 months almost. So you'd have to expect when SOD stopped getting development that it's going to take the exact amount of time, or more or less that same ballpark of that time, for the next seasonal server or Classic Plus or whatever Classic project is they're making. That's just how normal game development works. Especially if y'all want it to be this grand, reimagined Classic Plus, like this true Classic Plus, it's gonna take some time, and it's just normal. And again, it's just that conversation, like Turtle Wow has been doing this for years. How long did it take them to do it when they...
That's another fact. People are gonna compare the 18 months of Classic Plus from a dev team that went from 10 people to 50 plus at the end of SOD to TWoW, which started 8 years ago. Spent 8 years building its content to get to where it is today. They're going to compare the finished TWoW to the launch Classic Plus. And they're always going to use the argument, well, billion-dollar company, billion-dollar industry, billion. The Classic dev team was a forethought until Microsoft acquisition. They didn't ever get any support till post-Microsoft acquisition. The Classic dev team went from sub 10 people to just about 50 after the acquisition. Which means and honestly, at the end of SOD, they mostly blew up between phase 7 and 8. I think phase 7 was when they got a lot of people, which is why they did phase 8 itself, because they got a shit ton of new employees. Blizzard, as a company, you can criticize them, but the classic dev team was trying their best with the limited resources they had up until that point. And now they've got resources, and most of it's working on the next game mode. For example, MoP has a lot of issues, Anniversary will have bugs, and this and that. They definitely need QA. There's no QA at Blizzard at all, by the way. This isn't a classic dev team problem. We have no GMs, no QA. The most GMs we ever see are in Classic, when the Classic devs log on and do GM activities.
First did it. And I know they were just like a vanilla server at first, right? But it's been like 8 years since they've been around. That's a long time for all the content that's in the game. 18 months is pretty reasonable.
Also, I do want to clarify something else about TWoW. It's not a 5-person, like a basement, like, you know the meme people say? Tony Stark built this in a cave with scraps and nothing. The TWoW team is like 100 employees, like 60 plus people working on that game. It's huge. It's a ginormous proper production team. They are full-blown artists, writers. They actually have like full-time coders, server engineers. They're a giant team. They're not some like 5 people in a basement. That's Epoch. TWoW is actually a big dev team.
From a gaming company to make a game that we all really want. There's a lot of pressure to make this game right. Now, I'm not saying Blizzard doesn't deserve their fair share of criticism. They deserve a lot. And like I mentioned earlier, both Anniversary and MoP have their issues. Let's not forget all the scandals and legal stuff they went through years back, right? But going back to their current games, Anniversary and MoP have problems. Anniversary's economy is awful. It is so casual, unfriendly, and very RMT friendly. In my opinion, banning GDKPs didn't help. I wish they'd come back for TBC. And Mists of Pandaria at launch.
Yeah, I'll be real. Most people like GDKs at this point. You may hate the RMT, you may not like RMT, but at this point, it's just simply gotta be what it gotta be. You either ban everybody or you add GDKP back. And honestly, I prefer them banning everyone. If you buy gold, get permabanned. Legitimately, the bots will stop selling and people stop buying. Genuinely, that's it. There's no major argument or conversation. The bots will stop selling and people stop buying. So add GDKP and ban every buyer. Let's see how much people like GDKP when all the buyers get fucking banned and there's not that much gold circulating. That's the thing I'm saying is, if they genuinely ban the buyers, they'll tackle out the bots. The bots will stop selling if there's nobody to sell to.
Had a lot of bugs. The initial starting quest for the gunship, which was one of my favorite, most nostalgic parts about playing MoP, is still disabled. Why? 10-man raid.
Well, it's disabled because when I played MoP's launch, by the way, I don't know if anyone else watching this reaction will have. When I played MoP's launch, the gunship was broken. I genuinely, literally saw the gunship despawned. I fell through the earth. And I died. 40 people fell through the ship because it despawned. The whole fucking gunship despawned. We fell and died, and we couldn't rest for 2 hours. So they disabled the gunship so that people didn't have to deal with that shit, and they never re-enabled it eventually. But it's been, how long has it been since MoP launched? 3 months? Getting close to 3 months? So I don't know why it's still disabled.
Raids need major tuning adjustments. It's so unforgiving versus a 25-man raid. And I feel like they really dropped the ball on hyping up their PvP. They really could have brought in a lot of content creators who are big PvPers like Peekaboo, Sidu, Zaryu, a lot of these creators who like to PvP and hype up the game, because we all know that MoP kind of needed that population boost. So I feel like that was a really big missed opportunity to hype up your game.
To be fair, they tried. They tried to get Savix to come. They offered him 5k, and Savix said, fuck that, I'm playing old school RuneScape, and he wouldn't take the money. So they genuinely couldn't even pay people to play Mists of Pandaria, which is the saddest part about the whole situation, I guess.
But that type of criticism actually gets you somewhere. It has merit. It can lead to change. Just saying Blizzard hates you and they hate Classic and they don't give a shit about you doesn't do anything but score you like free internet points. It would be really easy for me to sit here and just talk a bunch of mess about Blizzard and say they hate you and all this nonsense, but it's just that. It's just nonsense. And also there's this...
To be fair, the classic devs and the retail devs probably don't hate us. They probably like us and they want the player base to be happy and enjoy the game. But I will say, the executive class definitely hates us. The executive class probably says, these peasants are complaining. Well, that's not my problem. You should just have more money so you can swipe and not feel it. It's not my problem, peasants. It's your fault you were born the peasant class, not mine. That's probably how the executive class thinks about us.
Conversation that devs can't give us good content. Like, oh, it's going to suck anyways because the people who are in charge anyway. And I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch too. Like, looking at SOD, did we have mistakes? Absolutely. But were there some bangers? Yes. Hell yes. I loved SOD, and a lot of people did too. All the level up raids were super fun, and Karazhan Crypts and Scarlet Enclave were awesome. I was watching a Mad Season video, and he tried dunking on Nomergon like, yeah, people really wanted a raid version of Nomergon. That's what they wanted. And I'm like, dude, come on, man. Nomergon was awesome. You're just like a Debbie Downer towards SOD. Like, maybe he didn't like it, but a lot of people did. And yeah, SOD had its faults 100%, but people who didn't like it act like their opinion was fact.
SOD had a lot of faults, but I genuinely do love SOD. I genuinely do love SOD. SOD is a great game. So much wrong with it. So much wrong with SOD, I'm not even going to lie here. It was genuinely, like, it was a very problematic game mode, but I truly did love and enjoy SOD.
But in reality, it was a really fun version of Classic. Class design was also really cool, and I really enjoyed my Prot Warrior and my Prot Paladin, almost more than any other version of WoW I've played. You can definitely make arguments like it got too retail-y with some of the mechanics, the power creep was too high. All those are fair, and there's more fair things to say, like talking about incursions. We don't want to talk about that though here. There's plenty of fair criticisms to give it, but to say it was bad, I hard disagree. But with all of this drama, especially with the recent Titanforge server nonsense, it got so out of hand that even Agron had to come out of the woodwork and just say, hey, remember this blue post I posted 3 months ago when SOD was wrapping up? Let's read it again and shut up. Now, he didn't say anything new, but he was like, just please reread this post that goes over how we are making and currently working on our next big project for Classic, and it's going to take some time. He's not going to announce what the game is. Nobody is.
I will say that the tweet was kind of tone deaf because it did ignore a lot of the criticisms. The tweet was correct. Yo, guys, we're still working on that new big thing. You guys gotta wait. But it was tone deaf because people literally, like I said, didn't care for the facts. They wanted to feel heard. They wanted to feel valid. That tweet did not make people feel valid. That tweet did not make people feel heard. The tweet was more of a, you guys are retarded. You guys aren't listening. We're working on Classic Plus. Pay attention. And a lot of people felt like off by that. In my personal opinion, I thought the tweet was fine, right? It wasn't anything major or terrible or whatever. Like it was just a regular tweet. Agron came back, said, yo guys, you need to reread this. We're working on stuff. Just trust. But a lot of people didn't give a shit about that. They truly didn't give a shit about that. They wanted to literally hear Agron come back and say, yo guys, the next big project is cooking in serious development right now. Heads are down working on this. Don't worry about the Chinese server. That's not even made by our dev team. It's made by the Chinese Classic devs. Stay tuned. We'll talk to you guys later. They could have just said something.
They're going to wait until BlizzCon because that's how things just work. They're going to wait for their big convention, like other gaming companies also do, to announce their big project. Yes, I know. It does suck how far away this is. I mean, I'm mad that TBC is 4 months away. How do you think I feel about this next Classic thing being like a year and a half away? I do wish it was sooner, like everybody else does too. But guys, here's the thing. Downtime, and this is the last thing I want to talk about, downtime is not a bad thing, and it really should be welcomed. There are more things to do besides playing World of Warcraft. We should be going outside, hanging out with our friends, our family, yada, yada, yada. And maybe you do that along with doing this already. I know I need to go outside more. Maybe I'm just projecting. But there's other games to play. There's other things to experience. We are all addicts to this game. My 2 OG WoW characters would be juniors in college right now. I've been playing this game for 2/3 of my life. Those are both insane facts. But, you know,
I will say Jody's not wrong. In 2027, I'll have been playing World of Warcraft for 20 years. I've been playing the Warcraft IP itself for over 20 years. I've been playing Warcraft since Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3. I've been playing for so long that genuinely more than 2/3 of my life I've been playing the Warcraft IP, and just under 2/3 of my life I've been playing the MMO, World of Warcraft itself. It's okay to take a break. Genuinely, I've said this before, people need to take a goddamn break. They need to take a deep breath. They need to play other things. They need to enjoy other things. They need to like take a step into the world of other games. Because it's a year away, I get it. I'm playing retail, as I'm addicted to World of Warcraft. That's a different problem. Like, I don't want to quit WoW. I'm just playing a different version of WoW in the meantime instead of playing another game, right? That's on me. I should be taking a break from the whole World of Warcraft to play something else till Classic Plus. But I want to keep playing World of Warcraft while I wait till Classic Plus, so I'm playing Retail WoW, and Retail WoW is really fun for me. But that's just my personal opinion. Legion Remix is coming, that's hype. Then TBC Anniversary, hype. Then 6 months of Classic Plus Copium until Classic Plus launches. But hey, different topic.
This time, try other games. I haven't even touched Night Rain yet, which is crazy considering Elden Ring is like my all-time favorite game. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is like game number 3 for me of my all-time favorites, and I still haven't beaten the remaster for the Switch because there's always new WoW content that I want to play and participate in. But I get it, especially if you're a creator. It sucks. This is like the worst time to be a classic WoW creator.
Absolutely
and
correct.
I understand and I feel for y'all. But if we want this game to be good, this next game, whatever it is, then we have to give the devs time to make it. And then one more thing, I'm sorry. All this thing with the private server stuff, and this will be for my next video. Some of y'all
Do also want to say, before he talks about the private servers, Paper Mario 1000-Year-Old Door is absolutely the best fucking Paper Mario game ever made. I'll fight on that hill. I'll stand on that hill. Absolutely goated game. Really good.
are really overhyping these games. And it's insanely hypocritical to be super anti-Blizzard, but then beg them to make a game for you. That's just so weird to me. Like, enjoy the private servers then. Clearly you hate this company. Why should they even, I don't know. Anyway, but that's just for my next video where I may or may not have played one of these servers. But that's it for me, you guys. I hope in the 3 weeks that I post my last video that everyone's been okay and great things have happened to you. I know this video might come off as maybe controversial or, rude towards creators. And I don't want that to be the intention because I get it. And I want everybody who is a WoW content creator to be successful in your journey. I want you to get to where you want to be as a creator. And I know this really awful time of downtime where we're just treading waters is so unhealthy to your work. I get that. And I'm sorry that it is what it is right now. I do want everybody that I've mentioned in like this video to be incredibly successful and be huge. And I am your supporter and I will like every video you post and cheer you on. But this conversation that we're having is not good for the sake of the game, which is the reason why I'm making this video. But I am rambling, you guys. Follow me on my socials. Follow me on twitch.tv.
Before he goes on to the, I've done some terrible pauses to my boy Jody. I've done him a disservice with the amount of bad pauses I've done. I'm gonna leave it like this, but I just wanted to say that. I will say, I do wish the best for every classic content creator. I know a lot of classic creators have left to make content in other games. For example, Sadako, Savix, Guzu, they're all playing old school RuneScape. My boy Tello is no longer even covering classic. Well, he's covering negative news only. My boy Hammer is playing full anniversary. Kago's gaslit himself to say that Mr. Pandara is a good game. Like, so many people are out here playing different things, doing different things, exploring other avenues. And it's honestly the healthiest thing. I wish everybody the best. Jody's correct. I hope everybody grows up, everybody becomes a big content creator and blows up and makes it a full-time living. I kind of want to break 200 viewers on Twitch, so if people would actually follow me over on Twitch and like help me out, help a brother out. I'm almost at 200 average viewers. I'm stuck at 175. I can't break that barrier. Anyways, I apologize. My whole point is, I wish the best success for everybody. Everyone deserves nothing but the best. And I hope they get bigger and bigger and get everything they want. But Classic Plus is over a year away. And as much as that sucks, it's simply what it is.
slash JD. I only stream my raids. I don't really stream too much anymore. Like I mentioned in this video, my main form of content is actually on TikTok right now, where I am making WoW TikToks about the music. Because if you didn't know, I have a degree in music. I'm a music teacher, and WoW music, especially on TBC and Wrath, is what inspired me to want to pursue a degree in it. So I've been doing that on TikTok, and it's actually been really well received. So if you're here from TikTok, I appreciate the nice words y'all have been saying, and I'm gonna keep doing that because it's really fun making those videos. But as always, thanks for stopping by and saying hi, and I will see y'all in my next video.
So my boy Jody is the absolute fucking GOAT. I love this man. A phenomenal content creator. He's a teacher. He's teaching the young kids. And y'all know how the young kids are in today's generation. They're pretty fucking retarded. These young kids aren't really smart anymore. Now, to be fair, we're all young. I was retarded when I was young as well. But I'm gonna be real. He's doing his best trying to make the next generation more intellectually capable. And dude's an actual GOAT. There'll be a link to Jody's video in the link down below. Go follow Jody. Go follow him on TikTok. Go follow him on Twitch. Give the man some love. He absolutely deserves it. He is the absolute goddamn GOAT, and I love this man. Amazing video. I will say I do agree with a lot of his points. I do think he did underplay the criticism a little bit. Like, underplay the positive... He underplayed why people are so negative a little bit. He didn't give it as much credit and credence as it deserves. Because, you know, some of that criticism was more valid and was more deserving, and he didn't give it the full output it should have gotten. But he is right in the overall feeling and the overall sentiment that the game is too negative, the community is too negative, and a lot of, you know, classic content creators are very negative. It's just simply what it is. He's not wrong. But a lot of that negativity does have value to some degree. There is truth behind a lot of that negativity as well. But Jody is correct. But hey, thank you all for watching. This is a second channel react. I don't give a shit if you sub or follow, whatever. Fuck it, whatever. Peace.